Hi guys, welcome back to Handmade with Tara. I am Tara, a stay-at-home mom to 3 beautiful boys, and I am an independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up. So today I am going to show you from start to finish how to make a beginner card. And I'll show you all of the tools that you're going to need, and I'm going to show you how I like to start, like what I would explain to somebody new who is just starting out stamping today. So first of all, I would recommend that you get a catalog. So this is the newest catalog, the mini catalog, January to April 2024. And from this catalog, if you open it inside, it's going to tell you a little bit of the history of Stampin' Up and why I do what I do here. But then it's also going to go, you're going to pick a suite. It's going to go to the suites that Stampin' Up has. And it shows you the suite itself, but it also shows you projects and ideas of things that you can do with the suite. So project ideas plus the entire suite, which will come with paper, the stamps, and there's a punch with this one, ribbon, there's pillow boxes with this one, and there's adhesive backed hearts and flowers that we are going to use. So I am going to show you also on this side, it's showing the different colors that coordinate with this specific suite. So these are Stampin' Up colors, and they are called Sweet Sorbet, Petal Pink, Daffodil Delight, Lemon Lime Twist, Pool Party, and Basic Black. So, and then on this next page, it gives you a closer look at the stamps that we're going to be using right here. And I am going to show you as I use them, but these are photopolymer stamps. They're see-through, and they will pull off of your blocks and stick back to your blocks, so you can use the same blocks and the different stamps on all the projects. Some more project ideas right here, which is pretty awesome. Alrighty. And I will also talk about Celebration, which I had the Celebration catalog, which pretty much is the sale that's going on right now. I'm just going to say, if you were to buy anything from the catalog, anything that you bought would support me directly if you followed my link and shopped my link. And right now, the sale is if you spend $50, you get a free item. If you spend $100, you get a free item. You know, you got 2 free items, or a $100 item, which is like a bigger item. Sure. So that's Celebration. If you have more questions about that, you can definitely ask me about that. But I'm not going to spend too much time on that because this is for people who have maybe already decided to join. They went ahead and they got their suite, their first suite. And so let me show you all the things in real time that comes with the suite. So this is the paper. The paper that comes with it, it's 12 by 12. And again, it shows you on the back side the colors that coordinate. So if you didn't have your catalog handy, you could just turn it over and then pick out a couple of coordinating colors to make coordinating projects. And then it also comes with the stamps. So Be My Valentine, and these are photopolymer stamps. I told you they are see-through stamps that you can pull off and attach to blocks. And then I also have the ribbon with me that I'm going to be using. So this is bordered ribbon, and it looks like Sweet Sorbet, and it looks like just white, like a basic white. And then the adhesive back gems. Pull those a little closer so you can see them. There's some like daisies and then hearts and flowers. Alrighty, so this is the beginning of the suite here. So I told you I'm not going to use the punch for the bee today, but these are the pillow boxes. I just want to show you these two. So they look like this. They already look like they're scored for you, so you don't even have to worry about that. But we're not going to do this today. We're just going to keep it simple, okay? So you can put all this stuff aside now, and then I'll show you a couple of the tools that you're going to need. So first and foremost, you're definitely going to need a cutting tool. So Stampin' Up has a great cutting tool, but any cutting tool will work. This one's awesome because it has a cutter and a score on the same So, and I'll show you as I'm making the card how easy it is to use them. It also will lengthen here if I need it for something longer. And sorry if you hear running around. That's my kids upstairs. I told them Mommy was making a video and they had to stay upstairs. So we're going to need some black Memento ink. So the Tuxedo Black Memento ink works well with the blends. So I'm going to be using blends. So I'm going to use a Memento black ink. And then the blends, like I said, these all come in the coordinating colors. So you can pick out colors that will coordinate perfectly with this suite that you already picked. Those come in a pack of 2, one light, one dark of each color. So just to show you and be transparent here. So this is light Daffodil Delight, and then they also have a dark Daffodil Delight. And you can see a little variance in the color of the lid, so you can tell which is which. Also, you're going to need a couple of blocks. So there's a set of blocks that you can buy, all of them, all the different sizes, or you can just start off with a D block is always a good go-to. It fits most stamps, but it doesn't fit the long one. So if you have a longer sentiment, you're going to want a longer block. So you'll need a block. These are the Stampin' Up! Colors that I chose to work with today's suite. This is Daffodil Delight and Sweet Sorbet. So these are Stampin' Up! Ink pads, and they open like this. And then if you want to close it, you just use your fingers here. Pull, close. You can also press the back. So if it's upside down facing you, press the back, and that'll also pop it open like that. All right? You want to make sure that you push it all the way in so that it's a flat surface, because when you're stamping, you're tapping. And if you leave it like this, it's going to be wonky. So you want to make sure that you make sure it's a solid surface to stamp on. All right. Also, a good working space is always great. If you join Stampin' Up, if you were to join my team, they have in the offer this month, they have this Stampin' Up beautiful glass mat, and it already has a ruler on the sides and everything for you, so pretty awesome. And it's a good size, like great size. But if you're not going to join and you just want a mat in front of you, I would get some grid paper. So my grid paper is crazy, but it pretty much comes in a really long page like this. And then as I use it, you're using it, then whatever you need. So I usually kind of make it in like a 4 so that I can stamp on this and then use it on my paper here. And then you're definitely going to need a chamois. So this is a Simply chamois, and it comes, and it's purple, this light color. And then you wet it. You just wet it under some warm water until it gets soft. And then I'm using stamp cases, which I bought a couple of stamp cases because I got a couple of chamois when I first started, to keep them in, because it keeps them wet longer and it keeps them moist longer so that you can continue to use them. And then you're going to need some adhesive. So I have Stampin' Seal Plus, or you can just do the regular Stampin' Seal. And then I also have a Tombow Mono Liquid Multi-Glue. So, and I call this the green glue. So if I say green glue, that's what I mean. And then you're going to need some snips. So these are Stampin' Up! Snips. They come with a sheath, so you can protect them and keep them nice and sharp. All right, so those are Stampin' Up! Snips. So, and they're awesome for cutting. They're scissors. You guys can get scissors anywhere, but the Stampin' Up! Ones are specifically made for fussy cutting, which is like cutting small objects around them, and they are very wonderful. I have many pairs of these now, just because they cut really nice around all the different little pieces. And then some extra tools that if you have are great, but if you don't have, not a big deal. I will say this is one of my favorite multi-tools here. It is this is a Stampin' Up! Take your pick tool. And I use it for getting the adhesive gems, so you'll see me use it. And you can also use it for dots, like glue dots, like picking up loose gems. not glue dots, picking up loose gems or placing small items. And then this also twists off, and it's a multi-tool, so you can actually buy add-ons and extensions for this to do other things. So sometimes if I'm working with dies, which is not in this workshop, it's in my advanced workshop, you'll see me use this poker tool to poke out dies that get stuck or whatever. So it's just great to have, but definitely an extra. You don't need it to do simple stamping, so let's move on. All right, so I talked about all the different things that you're going to need, and then also we're going to need some cardstock. So I just went ahead and pulled out some coordinating cardstock. All right, so cardstock, I definitely want to start with a basic white and then a couple of the colors, like maybe 2 or 3 colors at the most to start out that coordinate with the suite that you're working with. So again, to know what the colors are from the suite, you can look in the catalog, or you can also look on the back of the designer series paper, which is this paper. So you see the difference. This is, basic cardstock. This is designer paper. So the designer paper has the designs and, the fun, intricate things that are going on. And the designer paper is how I know what colors to use if I don't have a catalog. So without further ado, I'm just going to jump right into my simple card for tonight. So I am going to grab a piece of the basic white, and they have thick basic white and regular basic white. I'm going to grab the thick for tonight. I'm going to grab a piece of Pool Party. That's this color right here. And these are all like the fun names that, Stampin' Up! Has named their colors so that they're specific to whatever you're working on, and so they can help you coordinate and make it easy for you to coordinate projects. So this is a brand new pack of paper. So what I like to do is just cut with my snips the very bottom, because when I'm looking at it, I look like this and I'm like, oh, that's Daffodil Delight. That's the color that I need. And then I just slide it out like that. And then I keep it in my drawer like this, but it's ready to go. So these are the colors that I'm starting with here. And I'm going to go ahead and grab my measurements and make this really simple for you. So if you are an advanced stamper and you're just trying to get some card ideas, here are all the measurements for you. And if you're new, I'm going to walk you through so you don't need to memorize this. But here are the measurements for everything that I'm doing, and I measure everything in inches. So I am in the U.S. I am a U.S. demonstrator, so I happen to like the measurement of the inches measurements. It's easier for me to see and read. So now I'm going to grab my cutting tool, and I'm just going to do an 8.5. 8.5 is this paper. This paper is 8.5 by 11. Okay, so 8.5 is the short side, 11 is the long side. So, and I'm going to cut it to where we're going to cut it right in half. So if you cut it right in half like this, you can make 2 cards. Or if you cut it right in half this way, you can make 2 cards that fold a different way. So 8.5 by 5.5. So I'm just going to go to the 5.5. I'm going to use the cutting tool. So that's this side. This side, the darker one, is the cutting tool. So, and 5.5 is the inches right here. So 5.5, set that aside. And then I'm going to flip it, and then I score it. So I'm going to not use the dark one. I'm going to use the light one at the bottom here to score it at 4.25. So it's sitting at 4.25. So right over here. And then I just slide this up and down a couple of times to get that nice crease mark that you're going to want right in the middle there. So that is how you score the card. You fold it in half and you have the first base of your card. So, and I'm just going to set that aside for a second because I'm going to go right to the next measurement that I need here, which is 5 1/4 by 4 of the white cardstock. So I'm going to do 5 1/4, 5 1/4. Okay, cut by 4. And I'm going to cut it. All right. And then, so that's going to end up going on the inside. And then I'm going to cut one more for the outside. So I already have it started. So it's already 5 1/4 this way. So now I'm just gonna make sure that the other side is 4. And I'm able to make 2 with one side of paper. Okay, like that. So one for the inside, one for the outside. And then I'm right on to the next piece that I need, which is 5 by 3 3/4 of the Designer Series paper, or DSP is what we call it. So I'm gonna grab the Designer Series paper that I would like to use, which is this paper here. Okay, so that's what it looks like on one side. That's what it looks like on the other. This usually comes 12 by 12. So, and what I'm gonna do is I'm going to cut one side. I'm gonna do 5. So 5. Like that. So then make sure it's long enough. And then I'm gonna flip it. And I'm gonna do 3 3/4. So I go to the 3 and then 1 2 3/4 right there. Line it up. Make sure it's pushed all the way to the top. And I'm already pretty close at where I am. I'm almost hesitant to cut it anymore. I might cut it just, I think that it might be just right actually. I can feel it's hit, but there, we'll just clean it up a little bit. All right, so now we have the next layer that we need. So that's gonna end up going on top of the white, just like that. So, and we're just gonna continue on down the line here. And sometimes I use, because I cut paper all the time. So I use a little piece of scrap and I just like clean it out, just like that. So if it ever gets clogged up here, you can just use a little piece of paper and clean it out. Or if you have some like spray, you know, like compressed air, that'll help too. Anyway, so then the next piece that I need is going to be a white 3 1/2 by 3 1/2. So I'm going to grab, this is the other side of that paper that we already started with, and I'm just going to cut it at 3 1/2, 3 1/2. All right. And then I'm going to flip it 3 1/2 again, like that. So I have that. And then I'm going to then do 3 5/8 by 3 5/8 of the Daffodil Delight. So I already grabbed that out. So here's my Daffodil Delight. I'm going to do 3 5/8. So 3 inches. And then you count like, you don't, the littlest line is a 16th, but the next biggest line is the 8th. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5/8. Okay. So, and it's a little bit, I know that that's right because it's a little bit bigger than the 3 1/2. So it's just 1/8 of an inch bigger than the 3 1/2. And I'm going to cut there. And I'll show you how it comes together. So I can even go 3 1/2 and then up to little tick marks. And then that's exactly what I need. So this is going to get layered underneath this so that we have a little border underneath just like that. Okay. So right now we have all the layers that we need. Everything is pre-cut. So we can set the cutting tool aside. And then before we do anything, we are going to stamp. So we don't want to glue anything down until we stamp. Stamping has got to be after you cut, then you stamp, so that everything can stay organized. All right. You can pick any stamp that you like, but I'm going to pick Be Mine. So I just going to grab this with my hand, and then I'm going to put it on my block. So, and I'm using a C block for this, and I'm going to use the Memento black ink so that I can stamp this. And when you're stamping up, and you should be able to see through to see it. It looks very clear. All right. So, and it's a tap, tap, tap. You hold it on either side and firmly press the middle. So Be Mine. And if it's not even or you don't like it, you can flip it and continue to stamp on the other side because the paper's nice and thick. You don't have to worry about that. But I'm not worried about that because it's a handmade project, and I really like the idea that a handmade project is not perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and put this back. And if you want, you can stamp the inside around the corners, around the edges. You could put little flowers if you wanted to. You could put little hearts. You could add a bee. You could add any of these stamps to the inside if you like, but I'm not going to because it's a simple stamper. So I'm just going to do the sentiment just to show you how simple this can be to make a handmade card. So great for people who like to listen to audiobooks or like to listen to podcasts and want to have their hands busy while they're working. That's me. I love to listen to an audiobook while I'm working. I like to listen to music. Sometimes I'll watch a show. If I'm creating something new, I will not do anything that's going to take, away from what I'm doing. But if I'm, making a bunch of cards that are the same measurements and I'm not having to overthink it, then that's when this is just, it's fun. You can kind of have your creative outlet, but you're also making something that's useful that you can send to somebody and make somebody's day, right? So make somebody feel happy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this very cute little 3x3 white square, and I'm going to grab a couple of these. I really, really love this honeycomb, so I'm going to use the honeycomb stamp. And I'm also going to grab the Happy Valentine's Day stamp because I'm going to make a Valentine's Day card. So I'm going to go ahead and get those blocked up. And then I'm going to grab the heart as well. And I have a small block, a block A, that's just perfect for that little heart. So then I can set that aside. So this is all that I'm going to be using for right now. And the first thing I want to do is I want to stamp the sentiment so that you can see it and so that it's clear. And I am going to use the black tuxedo ink. And I'm going to stamp this. And so I'm tapping, tap, tap, tap until you can see it through. So you can see it's still kind of light in the middle there. So I'm going to stamp some more until it's nice and dark. Like that. And then I'm just going to stamp this lower right corner like that, a firm press to the middle, no wobbling. So I could stamp it so it's a little darker, or I could use a foam pad even underneath of it to give it, to make it darker. So I'm going to maybe do that. So a foam pad is another one of those really fun tools that just makes things easier. And let me show you. So let's say I messed up. It actually doesn't look bad, but I messed up. So I'm going to flip it over. So great thing about the Stampin' Up paper, it's great quality. So you can flip it. And then now I'm going to use the stamp pad, this foam pad. I'm going to re-ink it. And since my ink pad is a little dry, you can actually re-ink them. But I haven't done that yet, so I'm going to just see if I can get one more use out of this here. And I'm going to stamp that up, and then I'm going to try with the foam pad, and it's going to have a little bit of give. So I can press firmly with the foam pad, and then it's going to make a nicer print. So, and then I just need to remember to ink up this pad, so you can re-ink them and reuse them. Then I'm going to use my chamois that I was talking about earlier, and the chamois, it just is, I just kind of squish it in there to clean it. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the Daffodil Delight. Remember to make sure that comes all the way across here. And the photopolymer stamps, I love to use a foam pad underneath. It just makes a clearer print. So it's just a little bit clearer. And then I'm just going to use this honeycomb. And I'm just going to get a little, and then you can twist it. Maybe do a little bit more over here. So give it a little background of honeycomb. Clean that off with my chamois. And then remember, pull your fingers like that to pull it closed. And then I'm going to do a couple of Sweet Sorbet hearts. So, and this foam pad, again, this is just, it's just nice to have. One of those things that if you have it, great. If you don't have it, it's not the end of the world, right? Okay, so let me just add one more over here. So add a couple of hearts like that, and then clean that off, and that Stampin' bit is done. So I can put these stamps back in their box. I'll do that in a second. And then I can start to build my card here. So with the liquid glue is my adhesive of choice. The Stampin' Seal is great, but this, I'm going to show you why I really like the glue. So if you use the glue, I think it goes further than the Stampin' Seal. The seal is great too and easy, and some people love it. But I like that I can wiggle it around until I get it exactly where I want it. So I'm going to layer it on top, and then there's going to be a tiny little rim all the way around. And with the glue, I can kind of move it to get it into place so that it looks really nice, like that. Okay, so that's the first layer here. Okay. And then the next thing that I'm gonna do is I pulled out some designer series paper and I cut, this is the other side. So this is the one side, this is the other side. So I just cut out a couple of these bees, and I'm gonna show you how to fussy cut them. So a great technique to get some of these cool little bees. So they look cute, and everybody, I mean, they're already done for you bees. So, and then you just fussy cut. And remember, I told you these scissors are specifically made for doing this. So they are wonderful. They can cut really, really, you can get really, really close if you wanted to go completely, get all of the white off and just completely cut the bee out. You can do that. So, and it might take you a little bit of time, you know, to come back across here, come back and then cut really nice and close. Something that I didn't mention before, but it's always nice to have a little trash can nearby so that you can put all these little pieces so they don't go, you know, they don't get everywhere and go crazy. But, and you can cut right around this little guy. I just thought this set was so cute and perfect for Valentine's Day. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel if you want to be notified when I post new videos. I try to post at least 2 every month, one beginner tutorial and one advanced tutorial, so not too overwhelming because I am a busy mom of 3. All are 8 and younger right now, so little people who need lots of attention. So there's bee number 1, and then I thought about also doing a second bee here because, you know, bees, you almost never see them by themselves. They're always in groups, in swarms, right? Unless you just get stung by just one. That's no fun. And then this is how you cut all the way around, but then how you're using the paper again, this designer series paper, like this. And then you can just toss these. If they're big enough to save, you save them. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use another adhesive that I forgot to mention before, some Stampin' Up dimensionals, if I can find some. This is also, well, let's see, I had some I thought on my desk. Now, of course, when I'm looking for them. So Stampin' Up dimensionals look like this. They actually look kind of like a honeycomb. And they're just little foam adhesives, which you can use or not use. You don't need to use these, but this is just a nice little extra. if you wanna. There's one, there's two. So, and you just can kind of like put them wherever, doesn't matter, like that. So that's the next step. Then I'm going to attach these two pieces. So that's done. And then we're going to go ahead and use the green glue again. We're gonna do a thin line all the way around the edge. It actually works really well. You don't need a lot of this glue. A lot of people like to squeeze it out and it just makes a big gluey mess, but you gotta be really careful with that. And then I'm gonna put this down here. And like I said before, I like to wiggle it around until there's like a perfect edge all the way around. And then that's where I'm going to bring the ribbon in. So the ribbon, I'm going to put it around this piece right here. And I actually like to wrap it twice like that so that I have enough to tie a bow. So I'm going to cut that. That's how I measured it. Tie the bow, or, oh, you know what, even? Actually, I'm going to tie a bow. So I like this idea. We're going to bring it over, and I'm going to put the bow on the side because I'm going to end up putting this other piece on top. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull it to the side here. If you have reverse tweezers, that's a good time to use them right here to hold that bow into place for you. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a bow here and hold it as tight as I can so that it stays. And then you can kind of wiggle this back and forth as you like to get it where you want it and how big you want it and everything. And then this piece is going to end up going on top. So I'm actually, maybe I'm changing my mind. The bow might be too big. Too big. Let's see. Pull that all the way to the side. Oh, it's good ribbon. Staying in place really nice, but it is too big. So what I'm going to do is scratch that idea. Let me show you how to do a fake bow. And let's start from the top to the bottom like this. You can do like that, or you can do like this, side to side. So I'm going to do from top to bottom like this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and cut that. And this is where I'm going to use my Stampin' Seal Plus. So on the back side of this, I'm going to do a little bit of Stampin' Seal at the top and at the bottom where I'm going to attach the ribbon. And I'm going to bring it across. And this is how you save ribbon, but also get to use it and fake out, right? There you go. So just like that. So that's this page here. And now when you go to put it down on the card, you can use glue or you can use dimensionals here. So I'm going to go ahead and just use glue. And the glue will hold this ribbon down. The ribbon's nice and flat. And I'm going to go ahead and place this down on top of the card front. And then when you just press it down, hold it in place like that. And then when you open it, make sure that the B-mine is facing the right way. And then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to add this right to the top here. So, and I am going to throw that up on dimensionals to give it some dimension, some interest. And I can do it pretty easily here. All right, so, and then again, if you have a little trash can on your desk, this is awesome to keep track of all these little dimensional trash here. We find these all around the house. Alrighty, so now I used everything from the suite. Now I'm going to add my bees to the front here. And that is a beautiful handmade card, but it also is a very simple card that anybody can make and features all the different things from this new set. So we got some designer paper, the ribbon, the more designer paper, the stamps, right? All the different cardstock colors that coordinate. So, and this card is ready to go. You just need to add an envelope with it. And you can actually stamp the envelope as well if you wanted to give it a little bit of matching qualities. And then it is ready to mail. So it is a simple project that anybody can make, and anybody can start doing. And actually, ooh, you guys, I almost forgot. So I'm going to do a couple of these little hearts I wanted to add. Here we go. So, and I'll show you how I use this take your pick tool. So I already have some red hearts, so maybe I want to use some of these pool party hearts. Ooh. And then look, I can add those. You can add them like right on top of the red ones, or you could add them in some of the white space to give it some more color. Add some more. There we go. And 3 just seems to be a magic number when it comes to these things, so I usually go with 3. Every once in a while I'll do more, but look at that. Kind of fun. You could add the flowers too if you wanted to, but definitely don't need to. And then there we go. Now we're done. So now I've used all kinds of different things from this set. Give you a little idea and how amazing and beautiful this would be to send to somebody you care about, somebody you love, ready to go. So thank you so much for joining me. Again, if you want to shop the products, my product link is there. You can shop any of the products that I used tonight on this tutorial. If you want to join my team, please reach out to me. I would love to have you on my team. We have so much fun making projects together and doing different events together. So definitely fun. And then subscribe to the channel to look out for my next tutorial that's coming at the end of the month. This is my beginner tutorial, my advanced tutorial. So stay tuned for more and have a great rest of your day.